making use of ancient Indian wisdom for solving or even to explore whether there are some interesting ideas to solve some of the problems that we seem to be facing today is a very interesting possibility. But when we set on this journey and try to make use of ancient Indian wisdom and start looking at it, we will encounter a certain problem which we must be aware of, which we must be able to solve. Otherwise, we will not make too much headway in extracting useful things out of ancient Indian wisdom. Let's look at the problems. There are some practical problems. The first problem is, being a professor of management, let me give an example from management. Let us say I wanted to start this journey to say, are there interesting ideas in ancient Indian wisdom which may be useful for today's management? Now, when I set on this journey, the first problem I will face is what I call it as splintered domain knowledge. What I mean by that is, if we want to make headway in this, three things are required. One, knowledge of ancient texts. Number two, knowledge of Sanskrit, because most of the ancient texts are in Sanskrit. And third, a good understanding of modern day management principles and practice. Now, if all the three are not there, this whole process will be less than efficient. Because what I find is people who know management do not know Sanskrit. People who know Sanskrit do not know management. Sometimes people know Sanskrit, a little bit of management, but they don't know ancient texts. So the problem is, if you get three different set of people and then sit down and then start this process, it goes nowhere. Even if a single person starts, then this single person must have all these. So this is an inherent problem which we must be aware of. The domain knowledge is very splintered. Now, there is one argument people make. Why are we bothered too much about Sanskrit? Why can't we make use of translated texts? There are lots of translations available. In fact, I have a lot of respect for all of them. I think a lot of people have put genuine efforts to translate, but I just want to leave a viewpoint. Let's say there is a beautiful painting, wonderful painting, Raja Ravi Verma's painting, which you find in the Mysore Palace. Some of them are so expressive. Suppose I give you two options. Look at the painting in its originality. I actually present the plate or the painting in front of you, or I make a black and white photocopy of this painting and then give it to you. Now what happens? Now the black and white photocopy has substance but not spirit, because these intricacies of all that you see in the original color are missing here. It brings the substance but not the spirit. Let me give you another example. Let's say there is, in your mother tongue there is a joke, and now I just want to tell you, please translate that joke into English or into some other language, and because nobody is going to smile at it or laugh at it, enjoy that joke, simply because the point is simple. A language preserves certain moods, certain kind of practices, a time, a certain prayoga, the way you handle things. All these are part of a language. So when we make an effort to translate it into another language, there is a risk that some of them are lost. That's why I said that if you try to use a translated work, then you will get the substance, but there is no guarantee you will get the spirit. So if it is inevitable, we'll have to use a translated text. So this is the second problem. So if the entire ancient Indian wisdom you want to read entirely in a translated version, then perhaps there is a certain limitation with which we are trying to make sense of it. That's the point I'm trying to make. Now the third thing is that whatever attempts that are being made now are very unencouraging, because most of the attempts are to a large extent trying to, what I call it as, glorifying the past. You observe something today, then you go back to ancient Indian wisdom, you cull out here and there and say, what you are saying is available in ancient Indian wisdom. So I think that is not the idea, and that actually dampens the spirit of us wanting to do this. So that kind of a disservice is happening. It is not to glorify the past. I think it is to genuinely explore the intent, the spirit of what is being told, and say, can we bring it back, map it to some of the issues that we have, can we do something usefully with that understanding. I think current attempts are few and far between in this, so that itself dampens us. This is another dimension. The last thing which personally bothers me is seems to be, I think it is being done unwittingly, or it is being done because of the splintered domain knowledge problem that I spoke about. I think there are too many attempts to take too little from the ancient Indian wisdom and relate it to too much on the other side. I will give you an example. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, there is a shloka which says, Matta parataram na anyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mayi sarvamitam protam Sutre Manigana Iva. There is one shloka. So Sutre Manigana Iva, just like in a thread, Maniganaha, a set of beads are being woven one after the other. In the same way, the whole world, you can understand it like that. So that is what Sri Krishna is saying. And there are people who are trying to say that what is being told in this Bhagavad Gita shloka is nothing but the string theory, which is what modern particle physicists are actually talking about. There are many examples like this. I don't think this should be done. So these kinds of issues throw another challenge to us, to make use of ancient Indian wisdom. So we need to carefully wade through these mouse traps and cross all these hurdles. Then perhaps we can make a very good use, very good sense of what is contained in ancient Indian wisdom. That will be a very worthwhile effort to do.